The next tool we'll be talking about is the Place Fence tool. This is just another tool you can use to select elements. To get to the Place Fence tool, you can go up to your Drawing Workflow, come down to your Home tab, and under the Selection group, you have your Place Fence tools right here kind of in the middle. Under the Place Fence tool, you have this little down arrow. If I select it, it comes up with several different options. You can place a fence, you can modify a fence, you can manipulate the fence contents, you can delete the fence contents, you can drop the fence contents, or you can save the fence to a file. The one we'll probably be skipping over is name boundaries. We won't be doing any name boundaries in the MicroStation Fundamentals class. So first I'm just going to go out and place a fence. So I'm going to come up to the Place Fence tool, select it. Once the Place Fence dialog box comes up, you have several different fence types. You have block, shape, circle, element, from view, from file, and from flood. I won't be going over all of these options. They're pretty self-explanatory. But for our examples, for now, I'm just going to select Place Block. And then you have different modes. You have inside, overlap, clip, void, void overlap, and void clip. So first I'm going to select inside. Now I'm just going to go out and place my fence. Just left click to start the fence, drag it to where you want, and left click to end the fence. So now that I have my fence defined, if I go back to my fence tools with this down arrow, I can decide what I want to do with my fence. If I need to modify my fence, I can select that option. And now there's some modified modes. You have vertex and position. So if I want to modify my vertexes, I can come out and identify which corner I want by left clicking and then just dragging it to wherever I need to. Once I'm done, I'll just right click to reset that tool. And then if I needed to change my modes, I could also change them here. I'm just going to leave mine set to inside. If I want to change my mode from vertex to position, so now it wants me to define an origin point to move this fence from. I'm just going to go out and dynamically select a point somewhere. So I'm just going to go out here and left click on my screen. And now when I move my mouse around, you can see that fence is now moving. And to drop that fence back off, you just left click to accept it, right click to reset it, and you've moved your fence. Some of the other options under the fence tools are manipulate fence contents. If I select that one, it's going to bring up my manipulate tools. So I could copy, move, scale, rotate, mirror, array, or stretch my fence. If I go back up to my fence tools down arrow, I can also delete my fence contents if I need to. The next one is drop fence contents. So if I select that one, it's going to bring up the drop tool, and I can select what I want to drop. Whether I want to drop my line strings, dimensions, text, I can do those. And if you notice, every time you bring up one of these tools, usually there's always an option to change your fence mode if you want to switch it from inside to something else. And we'll go over these modes here in a minute. If I click my down arrow one more time, this last one we're going to talk about is save fence to a file. If I select that one, you have some options out here. You can pick your file you want to output this fence to. Of course, if you need to save it somewhere else. Of course, if I select these three little dots, it'll let me save my file to another location. Under processing mode, you have copy and move. So you can either copy or move the fence. Next, you have the different fence modes you can select from. And then this last one is switch to generated file. So once it's done copying it or moving it, it will open up that file you created or moved it to. So that's what the copy fence contents will do. So I'm going to go back to my fence tools. I'm going to select manipulate fence contents. Maybe I just want to copy my fence in this file, so I'll leave it set to copy. I'll leave my copy set to 1, and I'll leave my fence mode set to inside. So now I just need to enter my first point where I want to copy my fence from. I'm just going to come out here and select somewhere on my screen, left click to accept it. Now you can see I can move my fence to where I want. If this is where I want to copy stuff to, I'll just left click to drop it off and right click to reset it. And you can see it only copied the items that are completely inside of that fence. So if I go out, select my place fence tool again, create another fence. Maybe this time I want to change my mode from inside to overlap. I can do that. So now it's going to copy everything that is inside the fence and everything that overlaps or intersects the fence. So I'm going to go back up to my manipulate fence contents. I'll go ahead and pick copy again, leave it set to overlap. Now when I move it out, you can see it's copying everything that's inside the fence and everything that intersects the fence. Left click to drop it off, right click to reset it, and I'm done. I'm going to do a couple undos. Then go back up to my fence tools, come back down to manipulate fence. This time I'm going to change my mode from overlap to clip. So I need to enter my first point. Now you can see when I'm dragging it out, it's clipping everything that's inside of that fence and copying it to this location. Left click to drop it off, right click to reset it. So you can see it clipped out that fence and copied it to the new location. I'm going to do another undo. Go back to my manipulate fence elements. So maybe this time I want to change my fence mode from clip to void. So what that one does, if I left click to start it, you can see it's deleting everything inside the fence and copying everything outside of the fence. So if I wanted to copy that somewhere, I could just left click to accept it, but I don't want to copy all this, so I'm just going to right click to reset my tool. I'm going to go back up to my fence tools, go back to that manipulate fence contents, and go back to the different modes. So the void will void out everything that's completely inside the fence. The void overlap works just like the overlap. It'll delete everything inside the fence and everything that overlaps it. And the void clip will clip out the inside of the fence and delete it. So those are what all the different modes will do. And now if you're done with your fence, the easiest way to get rid of it, because it will stay out on your screen until you remove your fence, is to come back up to your place fence tools, select the down arrow, and select the place fence again. It'll remove the fence, but it'll want to start creating a new fence. If you don't want to create a new fence, just hit the F4 key on your keyboard and it will cancel that tool and go back to the element selection tool. And so that's just another way to select elements and modify them.